Greetings, this is TimeRider at Chapter 4 with a little bit of midweek Matchbox madness. What you're looking at here is the Matchbox number 67B, the Volkswagen 1600 TL. Kind of a puggish little brute, not the most particularly attractive Matchbox, that was originally released in 1967 and came in kind of a orangish red color. It was converted to the Superfast, and when they did that, they started painting them purple or pink. As always, during the transition, there were some Superfast that came out in the red color, and there were some regular ones that came out in the purple color. Well, as you know, I'm from Minnesota, and any opportunity I have to paint something purple on purpose, I'm going to take. So here we go. This is one of mine. I bought it in a lot with a bunch of other Matchbox cars, as pretty typical, and I paid $2.56 for it. I have another one that's in pretty good shape, so even though this one's not chipped up or anything, I don't feel too bad about tearing it apart to paint it purple. The finish on the paint was gone, and the roof was schmutzed up with something, I don't know what. I almost am afraid to try to guess. And the wheels looked like they had varnish or lacquer on them or something. The tires were in pretty good condition, and the chrome wasn't very good at all. Following a massive explosion, which injured no one, and managed to blow the car apart, leave the body and the doors laying on my workbench, and ironically, managed to drill out the posts and tap the holes, saving me a lot of trouble. So now it's time to strip the paint, and I decided to use my citrus stripper. And of course, after letting it sit a little bit, it's time for a nice bath. Something I actually like. A good hot bath where I can scrub my back. The paint came off pretty easy. I don't think it matters how good your stripper is. You always wind up with a little bit of paint left here and there where you need to grab your safety pins in this case, or dental picks or toothpicks. Sometimes I use my rotary tool with a wire brush. But I want to get rid of all the paint. And it's probably the most tedious part of any restoration or custom is getting the casting back down to the bare metal. Something else I've noticed too is once I get all the paint off, it's a better time to look at it. In this case, if you look, the A-pillar on the driver's side of the car is bent just a little bit. So here I am with my punch, using it like a body dowel, just pressing on it actually fairly hard, because I just want to straighten it just a little bit. Looks pretty good, don't it? Now it depends. Sometimes these models that have doors that open, I'll just leave the doors on and open them while I do my paint work, which is what I did here. Now eventually I did wind up taking the doors off and painting them separately. I just wasn't real sure that I was getting the paint onto the quarter panel. You can see me there opening the door a little bit, trying to get a little better take on it. But if I can do it with the doors on, I will. And sometimes I wind up taking the spring out and just do the doors separately. Now, typically I airbrush. I decided to do this with rattle can paint because every time I tried to mix purple, I came up with lavender. And I found this at the hobby store. If you're wondering what I'm doing there, I want to see how fast it comes out because I've gotten so used to my airbrush. I don't want to goop too much paint on there, so you'll notice I'm doing very, very short bursts. And I have taken the doors out because I wanted to make sure that everything got covered properly. Of course, it takes a little bit longer for this stuff to dry, so they were occupying my two helping hands. When I got around to doing the body, I had to put it back on a stick, and I painted it that way. I love the color. I mean, it's a beautiful shade of purple. I don't know if it's an exact match to the color that Leslie was using, but I've always liked purple. You know, setting the whole Vikings thing aside, I think purple is just such a beautiful color. Getting in the wheel wells here, trying to get the roof on the inside of the car done as well. As I had said too, rattle can paint takes a little bit longer to dry. And I don't think there's anything wrong with people who do restorations with rattle can paint. You can get really good results. But you'll want to cover it like I did here because it's a real dust magnet. And I let this sit actually for like 2 days before I handled it because I wanted it to be really, really dry. While I was waiting for it to dry, I went to work on some other parts. I'm using my chrome pen here. I really wanted the bumpers and the front end of this thing to pop with that purple. And I did all the wheel hubs as well as the front, and I boiled that little spring and flattened it under cold water and gave the interior a simple scrub. The windows were not in bad shape. I just used the Novus products that I use on just about everything else and cleaned them up really well. No sandpaper or anything like that. But once I got a dry body, it would be time to clear coat. So those of you who've followed me at all know that I had some serious problems with clear coating on a couple of my models. So since this was Tester's paint to begin with, I decided to use Tester's clear coat. And now it's time to do a little bit of assembly here. I'm getting ready to put the windshield in, and I've been using this rubberized adhesive for a while now. And I do it because if I ever want to take the doggone thing apart again, I can without having to worry about cracking the windshield, which I think if you use epoxy, it's such a permanent thing. And we'll throw the interior in. And popping the wheels on the hubs here. Sorry about the big hands. Nothing I can do about those. I probably should have shot this a little more from above. And then it's a matter of putting the button screws in. So let's go back and take a look at where we started. Like I said, it wasn't really in horrible condition to begin with, but the finish on the paint was pretty much gone. The windows were a little dirty, and the hubs had some type of a foreign substance on them. I consider this to probably be in fair condition, but certainly not beyond the realm of getting it painted, bringing it back to life in a new way. So, without further ado, here you have it. The Matchbox 67B Volkswagen 1600 TL in transitional purple. This is TimeRider at Chapter 4. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and feel free to post your comments below.